All right, everybody, Sylvia here, and I am getting ready to go on a trike ride. I'm going to be riding the Trail of the Hiawatha today, and it's a little bit complicated. I left Wallace, Idaho, where I was camped, and I have stopped first at Lookout Pass, and here is where you need to go to get a ticket to ride the trail. They also sell bikes, rent bikes, helmets, and lights if you need. I have Myrtle helmet and a light, and so I picked up a ticket to ride the trail. And they also offer a shuttle service. This trail is all down, and then at the bottom they have a shuttle service to take you back to the top, but I'm going to be riding down and back up, and this ticket is $13. If you wanted a shuttle, it's another $12. So all right, let's go ride the route of the Hiawatha Trail. Come on, Myrtle, let's go. All right, so I have made it to the trailhead. I got Myrtle out, Beastie is parked. These nice young men helped me get my trike out of the truck. Thanks, you guys. Enjoy the ride.
Have a good ride.
And had to park pretty far from the trailhead. It's really busy today, but I'm gonna make my way to the beginning of this ride. And so this trail is about 15 miles down. There are, I think, 10 tunnels and 7 trestles, and it's very, very interesting. It's very important to have lights for this trail because of the tunnels. They're very dark, and some of them are very long. In fact, this very first tunnel, I think, is like 8,700 feet. So, oh, looks like we got a photo shoot happening here. Maybe I can sneak by. Hey, all right, you guys, enjoy the ride. All right, so here we come to the tunnel. This tunnel is the entrance to the trail. And I've got a hub light generator, and I've got like 3 settings, so I'm not entirely sure if I have my lights on yet. I won't know until I get into the darkness, but hopefully. And somewhere in this tunnel, we crossed from Montana into Idaho. So we're going to cross state lines. Oh, you can just see a little speck at the end of the tunnel. Oh, it's really wet in here. And it's also cold. I think if you're somebody that's prone to coldness, you might want to bring a pair of gloves to get through this tunnel. It's more than a mile long, so it's going to take a little while. All right, so here we are. We're back in Idaho. Route of the Hiawatha Trail. Wow, listen to all that water. It's a nice welcome, isn't it? Get on the trail with a waterfall flowing. The Bitterroot Mountains. It's so funny. I'm out here on the trail. It was so cold in the tunnel that my sunglasses are completely fogged up. And so I'm going to have to stop and clean them off. I can't see a thing. It's so much warmer out here than it was in the tunnel. Yeah, so all along this trail, there's going to be interpretive signs, and they're all really, really interesting. And the views are just phenomenal. See that there's some haze in the air from fires somewhere, maybe in Colorado, maybe in California. I don't know that there's any in Idaho at the moment. Yeah, this tunnel is really carved out of the rock. And they've shorted up on the edges. And here's the first trestle bridge. Small Creek Trestle. 550 feet long. It's over 200 feet high. Nice view. Hi there.
Hello.
Hi. I think this is somebody that works on the trail. Hi. So there's people that patrol the trails to make sure that everybody's safe and to help with flat tires or any kind of bike problems. Most people are renting bikes, so I think it's part of the rental prices that they have people to make sure that everybody's bike is working properly. But it's a really nice feature to know that you're going to be safe on this trail. Yeah, so going through these tunnels, it is really interesting. I have very good lights on my trike, but they only point forward. And if there's a turn in the tunnel, I can't see ahead of me through that turn. And so I had to take it very, very slowly. It's probably a good idea to carry a torchlight, maybe to wear on your helmet, as well as a light on your bike or trike to help with the turns in the tunnels to give you a little bit more light. Yeah, it's really interesting. You know, this trail, it's very, very nice. It is unpaved, lots of rocks. And because most people do it on uprights, there's really just 2 single tracks. And so what it means is, you know, I got to pick the single track for my rear wheel to make sure that I always have traction. And a lot of times the front wheels are going through this thicker gravel. But I haven't had any trouble with traction, and very grateful I have suspension. I don't think this is a trail I would recommend for anyone that doesn't have suspension, but it's really just a fantastic trail. So this is Turley Creek Trestle. Yeah, we're starting to come down, riding more in the trees. That was 494 feet long. But wow, it's so beautiful. And you know, it's 15 miles downhill, but there's so much history, so many interpretive signs to read, and so many wonderful views to stop and enjoy. It really takes many, many hours to do this trail. Okay, so I'm on the trail and I've had to stop to tighten down my fenders. Anybody that's ridden an HP Scorpion knows that the fenders are a weak point on this trike. And the fenders themselves are really, really good, but the way they are attached isn't so great. And so I've had to tighten down the fenders pretty much anytime I do any off-road, unpaved riding. And you know, let me just show you real quick here. These are the two screws right here, here and here. And the only way to get to them is you got to get these notches on the disc brake to fit. Otherwise, the tool won't fit through. And the fender itself won't stay down. And so while you're doing this, you actually have to hold it and then tighten up the screws. And these screws, I don't know what they're made of, but it's a very soft material. And you have to be very careful to get this tool seated before you turn it, because otherwise it's going to strip out those screws. And so I think I got it, and I'm going to do both sides just to make sure. So being able to do simple, basic repairs whenever you ride your bike is important, and especially on trails that are unpaved, because things really do shake loose. And I think that's the reason why a lot of people will rent a bike to do this trail, because they would rather not put the wear and tear on their own bike. All right, so I've made it to the bottom, the root of the Hiawatha. You can see there's a lot of people down here at the bottom waiting to take the shuttle back to the top. And this is where you can get the shuttle bus back to the top, and they will take trikes. I have taken this shuttle back to the top, and no problem with them taking trikes, so that's good to know. But I am not going to do that this time. I'm going to turn Myrtle around, and we are going to ride back up. There are very few bathrooms on this trail, and this unpaved path is pretty rough on the bladder, but luckily there's a bathroom at the bottom. And now I'm heading back up. "15 miles to go." All right, so I'm heading back through the tunnels and over the trestles. These trestles are so amazing. And the engineering involved in getting this railroad through the mountains to the west coast is really remarkable. All right, so part of the railroad history for this trail is back in like the early 1900s, there was a horrific fire. It burned millions of acres in Canada, Washington, Montana, Idaho, and a train on the track got caught in this fire. And everybody but one person survived by hiding in a tunnel, and they were rescued by another train after the fire was put out. But you can imagine how horrific that would have been. And there's a grave to commemorate the poor soul that panicked and jumped off the train because, he just didn't feel safe staying on it. They think he was a railroad worker, a laborer. And after the fire, of course, all the track had to be repaired, replaced, which was just an enormous, enormous job. But I can't even imagine a fire that big. Millions of acres, millions of miles, such a huge swath of the United States and Canada. Yeah, so here's the shuttle bus taking riders, took the path down to the bottom and bringing them back up. So I think this truck here is full of bikes, and then the bus has all the riders in it. Huh. All right, so I've made it to the top. I have this final tunnel to go through. St. Paul Pass. Tunnel number 20, built in 1909. And it is, can you see that? 8,771 feet long. And it gets very cold in here, so I have put my jacket back on, even though at the moment I am quite warm. I know it's gonna get cool in here because that's more than a mile. Maybe it's like a mile and a third. And it's a little bit trippy. You kind of lose your place in space. Almost feels like you're floating. All right, there's light at the end of the tunnel. And we've made it back to where we've started. So how about that? The route of the Hiawatha Trail. Just a wonderful, wonderful ride. I think it'll be about 30 miles down and back. And I think it took me about 5 hours. Anyway, I'm really happy I did it. I've been wanting to do this trail for many, many years. I did it once before, probably about 8 years ago. My very first tater tot, went with a bunch of trikers, and made a huge impression on me. I just think it is really one of the most spectacular trails that I've ever been on, and well worth visiting again. All right, you guys, thanks for following along. Stay safe, stay healthy, and as always, thank you for watching.